This is going to be my 4-cheese macaroni. I'm using some macaroni noodles. These are from Costco. It's 17 ounces. And I found what works best is for every ounce of noodles, use an ounce of cheese. So I'm going to be using mozzarella, this cheddar, English cheddar, and some Gouda. And I found this is probably going to be the lowest quantity. This is a very strong cheddar. Otherwise it'll be equal parts of the other three. So I'm going to boil up the noodles first, or the macaroni. It takes about 15 minutes. And while that's cooking, I'll grate the other cheeses. Got all my cheese ready to go. I find grating and mixing the cheese up ahead of time makes it easier to blend into the macaroni. Okay, this is just a quick note for people that have a KitchenAid shredder. To take it apart, you pull it out, take the center piece out, then put it back in here, turn it. Now you can remove the shaft and you can wash the rest of this separately. Now when cooking macaroni or pasta, it's very important that the water is at a full boil before you add any pasta to it. Otherwise the pasta gets sticky and gummy, kind of melts. It's especially important if you're at a higher altitude. I also like to add a little bit of oil to the water. What that does is it breaks up some of the foam on the top so it doesn't boil over as easy. Alright, we've got a rolling boil on our water. Add all our macaroni. It doesn't matter what type of macaroni you use, whatever you want. Elbow macaroni, this curly macaroni, whatever you want. So now this will take for me about 15 minutes to fully cook. So we'll cook that all the way. I'm going to cover it, but I'm going to leave the lid open a little bit so it doesn't boil over. Okay, once your macaroni's done, you want to strain it. This is a 9x13 pan. I like to spray it with a little vegetable oil. You can also grease it. I don't know that it matters. It's just something I was taught. With all the stirring we're going to do, I don't know that it's going to, keep it from sticking, but we want to put a layer of macaroni in the bottom of the pan, and then we want to cover that with some cheese. And macaroni. And some more cheese. Oops. And the rest of the macaroni. It just barely fits in a 9x13. Again, this was 17 ounces, 500 grams of macaroni and about 500 grams of cheese. You want to end with cheese. So it's macaroni, then cheese, macaroni, and the last layer you want to be cheese so you don't dry out the macaroni noodles. So now I'm going to throw this in the oven. For a convection oven, I do 325. If you have a regular oven, you might do 350, and I'm going to put it in for 8 minutes. Okay, during the 8 minutes this was in the oven. There it goes. You should have time to wash up all your dirty dishes and put a load of laundry in the dishwasher. That's what you hear in the background. Now what we want to do is stir this up. Try to turn it towards the inside so it It doesn't fall out of the plate as easily. You can see it's not sticking to the glass. Okay. So we turned it in pretty good. Now back in the oven for another 8 minutes. Okay, timer's ringing. So that means it's time to do the second stirring. Okay, pull it out of the oven. Again, turn it towards the center. You see it's getting a little crispy in spots. Okay, we put it back in for 8 more minutes. Okay, it's time for our third and final stirring. And while I'm pulling this out of the oven, I'm going to turn on the broiler. I also have to raise up the shelf in the oven. Alright, once again, same thing, stirring towards the center. I'm going to put a little spice mix on the top here. This is Morton's Nature Seasoning. Now it's going back in the oven for about 3 minutes, just enough to start to get a brown crisp on the top. Okay, oven's done. Pull it out. I don't know if you could tell on the video, but it's just got a light brown crust starting on it, not enough to dry it out. That's the way I like it. So now we're all done. We'll just let it cool a little bit, and bon appetit.